Hello everyone, how you doing? In this video, I'm going to show you how you can add custom clothes to your MetaHuman. So in this video, I will show you how you can add these paints to the MetaHuman, but you can use the same method to basically add any piece of clothes that you want. So maybe shoes, t-shirts, or anything that you want to add in a MetaHuman. I will show this step by step. So if you do like this video, please hit the like button. This helps me a lot. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't lose any new content that I will post on this channel. So let's start. Okay, so here as you can see, I'm in the third person template, and first I need to show you how we will replace the mannequin with the metahuman. And I need to show you this because the way that we're going to do this will affect how we're going to add the clothes. So let me show you this. Once you imported your MetaHuman, they will show up in the MetaHumans folder and in the folder with the name of the MetaHuman. So for me, it's Killen. So let me open this, and here you have the blueprint for the MetaHuman. So let's open this one. And if it is the first time that you are open the blueprint, you will probably need to enable some plugins so the MetaHuman can work. So just enable that and restart the engine. So here, as you can see, I have my MetaHuman, I have all the parts here. And of course, I exported this MetaHuman without clothes because of course we will add our own clothes to this MetaHuman. Okay, so let's start replacing the mannequin with this metahuman. So for this, let's go to the folders here. Let's open the third person folder, blueprints, and here let's open the BP third person character. So we need to replace this mesh with the metahuman mesh. For this, here in the metahuman, let's select the body. And here in the skeleton mesh asset, let's hit this folder icon. This will take us to the folder where this mesh is located. So here we go. Here we have the body mesh that we want. So just select this, go to the third person character, select the mesh component, and here in the skeleton mesh asset, just hit this arrow here. This will put the body that we are selecting here inside this skeleton mesh asset, and there we go. Now we have the body here in the third person character blueprint. So now let's bring the other parts here as well. So just select everything here. So the feet, the legs, torso, face, everything inside the face, and the LOD sync as well. So just select all this, hit Ctrl C to copy, then go to the third person character, select the mesh and hit Ctrl V to paste here. And there we go. Now we have all the components for the MetaHuman here. Now just deselect the LOD sync. So just hold Ctrl on the keyboard and click on the LOD sync to deselect. And everything else you can drag to the mesh component. So let's put everything else inside this mesh component. And there we go. Now let's select all the groom assets here. So the fuzz, eyelash, eyebrows, hair, mustache, beard, and let's put all this inside the face. So let's just drag inside the face here. There we go. Now to correct positions here and the rotation, just select everything inside the mesh here. So the legs, face, torso, and feet, and just click on these arrows besides the location and rotation to reset the location and rotation. So just click here to reset, and there we go. Now we have the MetaHuman mesh in the third person character blueprint. Okay, so now let's put the LOD to always be in 0. So for this, let's select the LOD sync component here. And here in the forced LOD, let's put this in 0. So the character will always be in LOD 0, so the max quality LOD. So now if I hit compile here, let's wait a little bit for it to compile. There we go, let me save. And if I hit play now, as you can see, we have the character here doing the animations, but if I run, we have a problem with the feet and the legs, as you can see. So this is happening because of the control rig that puts the foot on the right place with the foot placement, as you can see. So this is the problem, so let's fix this. But first, let me show you why this is happening. So if we go to the third person character and select the mesh, here as you can see, the animation blueprint that drives the animation of the character is the ABP Queen. And this animation blueprint uses the skeleton for the mannequin and not the skeleton for the metahuman. And if we open the skeleton for the mannequin, so let's go to the third person here, characters, mannequins, and meshes, you will find the SK mannequin. This is the skeleton that the mannequin uses. And this skeleton has the IK foot left and IK foot right. This skeleton has these two bones, and the skeleton for the metahuman doesn't have this. So if we select and double click on the mesh here for the metahuman, now we can click on this skeleton here to bring us to the skeleton. There we go. So if you try to find here, you will not find those bones, these two, the IK foot left and IK foot right. You will not find this in the metahuman skeleton. And basically this is the problem, because the control rig that puts the foot on the right place in the ground uses these two bones to do this, and the metahuman don't have these two. So to fix this, we need to add virtual bones to this skeleton, the skeleton for the mannequin, so the metahuman mesh can have those virtual bones to put the feet. So this is what we need to do here. So let me just close this two. And to create this, we first need a virtual bone for the hood of this skeleton. So just select the hood here, right click, and go to add virtual bones, and here you can just select the hood. And there we go. Now we have a virtual bone for the hood. And now inside this virtual bone, we need to add two more virtual bones, one for the left foot and one for the right foot. So here, just right click and go to add virtual bone, and here just type foot. Let's add one for the right, so just select foot right here, and select the hood again, right click, add virtual bone, and let's add one for the left one, so just select foot left. And there we go. Now we can save this, and we can go to the control rig so we can use those two virtual bones. So let's do this. Okay, so let's go back to the folders here and open the control rig for the mannequin. So let's go to characters, mannequins, rigs, and here we have this asset, the control rig mannequin basic foot IK. So let's open this one. And here is where we do all the calculations to put the feet where we want in the ground. So this is where we do this, but as you can see here, we use the IK foot left and IK foot right bones to do the calculations. And we need to change this to the virtual bones that we created here. So to do this, here as you can see in the rig hierarchy here, if you try to find those virtual bones, you will not find those, because we need to refresh this hierarchy with the updated skeleton. So to do this, right click on the hood here, go to refresh, and here we need to select the skeleton. So just click on this none here, and here just select the SKM many, for example. So if we select this now, and if we go down, now we have the VB hood here, and inside this we have the VB, the virtual bone for the foot right and for the foot left. So now we just need to change this in the graph here. So where is foot left, IK foot left, you need to change this to VB foot left. So just type VB here and select the foot left. Here is the IK foot right, so just type VB and select the foot right. We need to do this again down here, so here where is IK foot left, change to VB foot left. Here we need to change to VB foot right, and here we need to change this one to VB foot left and this one to VB foot right. And there you go. We now can compile and save this. And if we go back to the third person here, as you can see, the foot is not working yet. So if I hit play here, as you can see, the foot is not working yet because we need to do one more thing. So now what we need to do, let's go back to the third person character here. Now for every mesh that your metahuman have, you need to assign the mannequin skeleton to that mesh. So for me, it's only the body mesh here. We don't need to do this for the face, so don't do for the face. We only need to do this for the body and for the legs if you have one, torso if you have one, and feet, but I will not use these flip-flops here, so I will not do this. So for me it's only the body. So here let's select the mesh where we have the body. Let's click on this folder icon to take us where this mesh is located, and now we just need to right click on this mesh, go to skeleton and assign skeleton, and there we go. Now we have some options here. And as you can see, we have the SK mannequin here. So select this one. Don't select the SK mannequin skeleton because this one is for the Unreal Engine 4 and we are doing this for Unreal Engine 5 mannequin. So we need to select the SK mannequin, this one. So just select this and click on accept. Then you can click on OK. So now this mesh has the mannequin skeleton. So if I hit play now, as you can see, the feed is not working yet. This is because we need to restart the engine. So if you did all this and is still not working, you need to restart your engine. So let's restart the engine and see if it is working. Okay, so we are back in the engine, and if you did all this correctly, when you hit play, you should have the MetaHuman working fine. With the foot, as you can see, now it is working, and with the foot I key as well. So as you can see, we have the foot I key working as intended, as you can see. So now we can start working on the pants, on adding the pants to this character. So let's do this. For this, we will need Blender, so if you don't have Blender, just go to their website and download it. It's completely free, and it is a great software if you want to create animations or things for games. So we will need Blender, and we will need the meshes for the MetaHuman as well. So we need to export this MetaHuman here from Unreal, and we need to import in Blender. So to do this, let's again select the mesh here, where we have the body, and let's hit this folder icon so we can see this on the folders here. Let's right click on this body, let's go to asset actions and export. So here you need to select a folder where you want to export this. So for me, let me put on this folder here, and there you go. And here I will deselect the vertex color. We don't need this. We don't need level of detail as well. And collisions, we don't need this. These other two I will leave checked. So just do this and hit export. And there you go. Now we exported this. And for the paints, we actually only need the body, but let's export the face as well. So just select the face here and hit this folder icon so we can have this face on the folders here. Let's right click, asset actions, and let's export as well. Just select the same folder here, and the settings is the same, so just hit and export. And now we have exported the body and the face for the MetaHuman. Now we need to do this in the Blender, so let's go. But first we need a piece of clothes. Of course, if you want, you can model your own clothes, but for the demonstration of this tutorial, I will use these paints that I found on Sketchfab. It is from Alexander and it is free to download. You just need to log in your account. So just log and hit download 3D model here and just download the OBJ version here. But if you want to use this particular model on your projects, please don't forget to credit the creator, right? So just download this so we can use, and let's go to the Blender now. So this is the file that we downloaded. This is a compact file, so just right click and unpack this. So let me just unpack here. There you go. So we have this folder, and inside this folder we have textures. This is all the textures for the paints, and we have source. So here it is again a compact folder. So just right click and unpack this. There we go. And in this folder we have the OBJ file. So this is the file that we need to import in Blender. Okay, so now we are here in Blender. Let's import the meshes that we want, but first let's organize a little bit. So this collection, let's rename this to original. This is where we're gonna put the metahuman meshes. And let's create a new collection. So right click on this scene collection and go to new collection. Let's rename this to clothes. So this is basically where we're gonna put all the clothes that we want. And there you go. Now let's select the original and import the metahuman. To do this, go to File, Import, and FBX. The metahuman is an FBX file, so just select FBX here and navigate where you have your metahuman. So for me is this folder. So let's just import the body for now. So just select body and import. There you go. We have the metahuman body here. Now let's go to File, Import, FBX, and now let's import the face. Just select the face and hit Import FBX. There you go. Now that we have the meshes here, let's select the bones for the face and the bones for the body. And let's press 8 on the keyboard so we can hide those bones. There we go. Now, if you want to model your own clothes, you can. You have the body here in Blender, so you can model the clothes that you want. But let's use the paints that we downloaded from Sketchfab. So let me just select the clothes collection here, so we import to that collection. And now let's go to File, Import OBJ this time, because the paints is an OBJ file. So select OBJ and navigate where you have your paints. So for me, his clothes here, cargo paints, source, low poly mayo, and here we have the OBJ file for the paints. So just select this and hit import wavefront OBJ. And there you go. As you can see, this paint is already in the correct scale and in the correct position for this body. So for this particular model, we don't need to do nothing, but if your model don't have the correct scale or position, you can fix this, of course, here in Blender. And we need to have the origin on the middle of the word here, basically in the same place of the metahuman origin, as you can see. So if your origin is not in the middle here, let me show you. If I press shift on the keyboard and left click around, as you can see, I'm moving this cursor. So you need to have this cursor in the middle. If you don't have, just press shift S on the keyboard and click on cursor to word origin. And this cursor will be in the middle here. Now you can select the piece of clothes that you want, right click, go to set origin and origin to 3D cursor. This will put the origin in the middle of the word here, and that's what we need because the origin of the metahuman is in the middle of the word as well. Okay, so now we can start working in the paint here. Because as you can see, we have the paints in the correct position with the correct scale, but if I try to move the metahuman, the paints won't follow. So let me show you this. If we go here to the body mesh, expand this, we have the hood. The hood is basically the bones for the body mesh. So let's make this visible again. And if we select these bones and here in the object mode, let's change it just to pose mode. So if I select a bone here and press R on the keyboard and next to lock this on the X axis, if I try to move, as you can see, the leg is moving, but the paints are not moving. So we need to fix this. So let me show you. Let's go back here to object mode and let me select the body so you can see. So if we select the body here, and if we go to this data tab, as you can see, here in vertex groups, we have a lot of vertex groups. Basically, we have one for each bone of this mesh, as you can see. So basically, this is how Unreal and Blender knows what part of the body to move when we move the bones. So what part of the mesh to deform. So we need to transfer this data from the body to the paints, because if we select the paints, as you can see here in this data tab in vertex groups, we don't have any vertex groups, so we need to transfer this data. So to do this here in Blender is really simple. So, but first let's change this name because the paints is named plane. Let's change this to paints. There we go. Now let's select the paints here. Let's go to modifiers tab. So this one. Let's click on add modifier and let's go to edit and let's add a data transfer modifier to this. There we go. Now we need to select a source. So from where to get the data. So let's click on this eyedropper here and let's select the body. So just click on the body here. There we go. Now we need to select what type of data to transfer. So we need, for this one, we need the vertex data. So select vertex data here. Expand this and select vertex group with the mapping set to nearest vertex. There we go. So this will basically get the nearest vertex in the body of the paints here, and we'll set a vertex group for that basically on the nearest bone as well. So now that we did this, if I click on generate data layers, there we go. If we go to the paints here and if we go to the data tab, as you can see, now in the paints we have the same vertex group, one for each bone. And now we transfer the data that we need. So let's just go back to the modifiers tab here in the paints and let's apply these modifiers. So let's click on this arrow here and let's click on apply. And there we go. But now the paint will not move as well. So if I select the bones here, let's go back to the pose mode. So if I try to move this, as you can see, the paint is not following yet because we need to do more things here. So let's go back to the object mode. Let's select the paint and we need to add one more modifier. So here in the modifiers tab, let's go to add modifier, deform, and this time let's add an armature modifier. This will basically tell this paint from what armature, from what skeleton to follow the movements. So here in the object, let's click on this eyedropper here and let's select the body bones here. So just select these bones here. There you go, we have the hood here. And now we just need to make these paints a child of these bones. So to do this, here in this hierarchy here, we need to hold Shift on the keyboard and we need to drag these paints to the hood. So hold Shift on the keyboard and drag these paints to the hood here. So now if we expand the hoods, as you can see, we have the paints inside the hood, but we have the paints outside here as well. But if I select this, as you can see, the paints inside the hood get selected as well, because this is basically the same object. We are only telling Blender that this paint is a child of this hood. So now if we select the bones, go to pose mode, and now if we try to move this, the paints will follow. As you can see, we are moving the bones, we are moving the leg, and the paints are following as well. So this will happen basically in any bone, as you can see, with the correct weight. So this is basically it. Now we just need to export these paints back to Unreal. So let's do this. To do this, let's go back to the object mode here, and to export these paints to Unreal, we need to export the paints with the bones. So let's select the paints and select the body bones here. There we go. We only need to select these two because the body and the face we already have in Unreal. This is the Metahuman, so we don't need to export this. Only select the paints and the bones for the body. Now we can go to File, Export, FBX, and here you need to select a folder where you want to export this. So let me select this folder here. And here in the settings, let's first select the selected object. So let's check this to only export the selected ones here. Let's click only in the armature and the mesh. You need to hold Shift to select more than one here. So click on mesh and hold Shift and click on armature to select both of this. Here in the transform, we don't need to change nothing here. But here in the geometry, we need to change the smoothing from normals only to face. So in Unreal, we basically need to export the smoothing with this face option. So just select this. Here in the armature, let's uncheck the add lift bones. Let's uncheck this. And let's uncheck the bake animations because we don't have animations for this. So let's just uncheck this as well. Let's change this name to paints. There we go. And let's just hit export. There we go. Now we just need to import this in Unreal and put on the character. So let's do this. Okay, so now we are back in Unreal, so let's import the paints. So for this, I will go to Metahumans, the Killen folder, so the Metahuman that I'm using here. In this folder, I will create a close folder, so let's go to new folder here and let me name this close. There we go, let's open this. Inside this, I will create a new folder for the paints. And inside the paints folder, I will create a new folder for textures. There we go. So first, let's import the model. So right click on this paints folder and go to import and navigate where you have the piece of clothes that you want. So for me is paints. So let's just select the paints model that we exported from Blender and let's hit open here. And make sure that skeleton mesh is checked here because we do have a skeleton on this paint. So we need to check this. And now we need to select a skeleton. So if you remember, we assigned the mannequin skeleton to the metahuman mesh. So here we need to select the SK mannequin and not the metahuman base skeleton because we exported the metahuman with the mannequin skeleton because we assigned it before exporting. So now that we created the paints, we need to import with the SK mannequin. So just select this one and click on import. And there we go. As you can see, now we have the paints skeleton mesh here, as you can see. So now let's just create a material for this. But before, let's of course import the textures that we downloaded with the model. So let's go to the textures folder, right click and import, and just navigate where you have the model that you downloaded. So cargo paints here for this one, textures, and we have the textures for this particular model. So let's just open this and we imported the textures here. So for the texture, there's one more thing that we need to do. So here in the base color, it's correct, and for the normal, it's correct as well. But for the other maps, we need to change the compression type. So if we open the metallic textures, for example, here in the compression settings, as you can see, this is default, but we need to change this to mask because this don't have any sRGB. So let's just change to mask here. Let's save and close. Let's do the same with the emissive texture here. So let's just change the compression settings to mask. Let's save and close again, and we need to do one more for the roughness. So just open the roughness map here and let's change this to mask, so no sRGB. Let's save and close, and now we can create the material for the paints. So let's go back to the paints folder, and we already have this material here. So this one, let me just rename this to M for material paints. There we go. And let's open this and let's just add the textures here. So let me get rid of this node. Let's open the content browser by pressing Ctrl and space. Let's navigate to the close folder here, so the paints, textures, let's select all this and put on the graph here and just drag to the graph, and let's just connect the correct textures to the correct pins here. So the base color of course goes in the base color. Let's find the metallic one, so this one is the metallic, as you can see, the metallic. Let's connect on the metallic here. We need the roughness, so this one is the roughness. Let's connect this on the roughness. The emissive is this black texture here, so let's just connect on the emissive. And now let's connect the normals. So let's just connect the normal on the normal. Let's apply and save. And as you can see, now the paints, we have textures on the paints. And this is basically it. So to add these paints on the third person character here, we just need to add on one of these components. So because we are creating paints, makes sense that we add these on the legs component. So just select the legs skeletal mesh component, and here in the skeletal mesh, just select the paints model. So just select here. There we go. Now we have the paints on these legs. Let's compile and save. But as you can see, the paints is not aligned with the legs. So if I hit play now, so let me just hit play so you can see. We have the paints on the character, but the paints is not following the animations, as you can see. So to fix this is really simple. Let's go back to the third person character blueprint here. So here we just need to tell these legs, torso, and feet to follow the mesh animation. So to do this, let's go to the constructor script and let's drag the legs, torso, and feet. So just select this and drag to the graph here. And from one of these, just drag and type set leader pose component. So let's just connect on the constructor execution pin here. So we need to connect the torso, the feet, and the legs to the target. We don't need to do this for the face, only for the torso, feet, and legs. Connect to the target, and for the new leader bone component, just connect the mesh one here. So just drag the mesh to the graph and connect the new leader bone component. So if we compile now and save, let's go back to the viewport. As you can see, now the paint follows the correct animation. So let's go back here to the third person map and let's hit play to test this. Let me open this, and there we go. Now we have paints on the metahuman. And if we run here, if we move, as you can see, the paints follows correctly the animation, any animation that we have on this metahuman. And this method will work for any piece of clothes that you are making. So maybe a t-shirt or a necklace, anything that you want to put on your metahuman. So this is basically how we can do this. And this is basically how you can add clothes to metahumans. This video is a little bit longer, but I really need to explain why I'm doing things so you can customize to whatever you want. So in this video, I added paints, but you can use the same logic to add shoes, t-shirts, and basically anything that you want to put on your metahuman. So if you do like this video, please hit the like button. This helps me a lot, and subscribe to the channel so you don't lose any new content that I will post in the future. So as always, thank you for watching, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video.